Well, hello, YTPC and fellow YouTubers. I just like to say, I hope you're having a wonderful, great, wonderful Sunday. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about, well, my beard growth and other things. But before I go into that, I'll do just a little bit of some housekeeping. I'm smoking out of my Washington, Missouri Meerschaum cob, as which I done a little modification to it. I don't know how well it's gonna shoot, but I put this old stem on here that kind of slides in to the shank of this one pretty decently, and it belonged to the crappy meerschaum that I bought, and I just figured I'd see how it smokes like this, and if it works like this, then I'm gonna keep it like this because I like this bit. I like the stem there. I like those. I wish I could like find out where everybody got a hold of those one acrylic stems that you can buy for cobs that they was making there for a while. I've been looking for those and I can't find them. It's like they made a short run of them and they're gone. But anyways, I'm smoking Crunchy Blend by Fallon. It's a mighty fine chewing tobacco. Excuse me, while I light up. And I'm also sipping on some good old Folgers with some sugar and some half and half. Mighty fine. I say that idea's gonna work. I think Ben the Bagpiper might be mighty proud of that. Well, anyways, about my beard here. As y'all that's been following me for a long time, y'all know that I've had a mustache for like ever, except for the one time when I decided to go completely clean. But I feel like I should kind of tell everybody what the inspiration was behind why I decided to grow a beard and what my goal is with my beard. Well, anyways, one time I was watching the Gray Bailey channel, and I like that guy. He's pretty cool, old Mr. George Bruno. And anyways, he up and was talking about yeards. That's how I first learned about the yeard and everything, and how he said it would be cool to follow a channel that had a thing that was called the year of my year or something, talking about how you follow that. And it just kind of inspired me because I'm like, well, being part Native American, I'm lucky to grow a mustache. And anybody that's been, if you go back a few videos back, you'll see where this thing looked more patchier than what it is now. And anyhows, I didn't think it'd work out right. Matter of fact, I'm actually amazed that I had enough patience to let it to get this long. And tell you, I ain't got no luck in this pipe at all. There we go. Now we're chooching. Anyways, I up and decided, well, I'm gonna go as long as I can stand it. Rain, snow, shine, or and see how long I can go. And I didn't know what type of beard I wanted or anything, but then I ran across this picture of a guy that online. It was an old picture. The guy had a mustache like mine, except he was gray, all completely gray, with maybe just a little dark in the soul patch, and that's about it. But said in the description, an untouched natural beard. And I was like, untouched, unnatural, what's that mean? So I up and looked it up, and meaning it had not been trimmed, not a razor had been put to it, it's not been shaped or anything. And dude's beard was like, whoo, Also, I use beard oil. That's probably the only thing that touches my, not beard oil, but beard balm. Probably the only thing that touches my beard, other than a brush. But then I figured to myself, well, if I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna grow this out, then thank you for joining me, viewer. I say thanks and they go away. That's alright. Anyways, I decided, if I'm going to grow this thing out for a year, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let it not have a razor or a trim be done to it and really see from taking natural good care of it how long it will get, how thick it will get. And this stuff right up in here, I figured I'd see how patchy it stays. And anyhow, also this guy even had the same type of patchiness up in here, in the upper cheek. So I was just like, that's the type of style I think I'll go for, But I tell you what, though, I like my handlebars. I don't know what has always attracted me to the idea of handlebars. Ever since I was like a little kid, like I guess everybody that with a handlebar mustache, has like that one person or that character, that like they're like, yeah, I'm gonna have one just like that guy, But funny thing is Captain Hook, man, Captain Hook. That and also a Sean Connery character, a character that Sean Connery played too, the movie Highlander, where he up and kind of sported that handlebar mustache. I thought that was like so cool, And here I got long hair, so I was like, oh yeah, that'll look awesome. But yeah, I'd have to say, Greg Bailey channel, Mr. George Bruno was really my inspiration for growing this out. Now here's something I do use. I can't afford some of that high-end beard wash and the high-end beard products. Now I do have a beard balm that my mom and my sister got me that I use, and it's all right. It's called the Beard Guys, is what it's called, and Has a cool little signature on it. Shows like a guy looking like a nerd kind of, you know, but black outline, you know, wearing glasses and, you know, the haircut that you see men getting nowadays. And then with a mustache, almost like mine, and a beard, you know. I was like, that's pretty cool, you know. And it got a coconut oil in it, argan oil, and I think seed oil in it, and something else. And my mom and my sister got it at a little thrift store that was, get this, that was ran by Amish people. So Amish people got beards, and if they're buying a product like that, it has to work, you know. And to get my mustache to stay the way it is, I know these guys that like grow out facial hair for competitions and for being models, male models, and all that. They use a lot more than what I'm about to say, but I started out at first when I first decided I'm going to grow some handlebars years back. I decided, I was using wax. Well, there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons to wax usage. And one, I found that if you put too much in it, it's going to show. It's going to make your mustache look like, you know, like you got that flaky skin look in it. And that's what I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want that look, you know. And then second, I found it really hard to wash out, which I ain't complaining that it was hard to wash out because that means the product's going to stay and stick and hold. But also, I noticed every time it would get real hot and everything, you know, the wax just wouldn't be that pliable. You know, it just seemed like it would, well, you know, just like you get anything that's waxed warm, you know, what's it going to do? It's going to melt, going to lose its strength, you know. And I didn't like that sticky feeling when it started doing that. And so I used um, some pomade a few times. I wonder if I got that packed in there too tight. But I used like pomades and stuff, and they work kind of good, you know, until once again you start getting hot and you start to sweat. And it kind of looked like it had some flakes in your mustache too, and I just didn't like that look, you know. It just, nah, you know, it looked nasty. Because what it would do is the oil that was in that would catch the salt more or less in your sweat, and it would look little flaky and everything, and it's just nasty looking. So I up and quit using it, you know. And then I've had some people say to me, "Why don't you use gel?" I was like, "You don't want to put gel in your facial hair, you know." And so someone said, "Well, there's this one stuff that you might try." And I go, "What's that?" He said, "It's the same stuff punks use to put mohawks in their hair and all this other stuff." I was like, "Okay, what is it?" And they said, "Got to be glued." They said it works, and you'd be amazed. Well, I watched other videos of guys that had handlebar mustaches that were using it and showed how it could be applied and worked great. And so I tried it, and that's what I've been using ever since. But anyhows, um, that's what I use. And then from watching the Gray Bailey channel, I up and learned how to use a hair dryer to get the stuff to dry quicker and hold the way you want it to hold. Because I tell you what, I was like very conscious about my curl, you know. And I know I probably looking here on my phone at myself, um, they look like they're even, but I'm pretty sure a trained eye could look at it and be like, nah. But anyhows, when I before I had a hair dryer, I learned that trick. I up and would constantly be going back and forth, you know, about every 15 minutes and straighten her back up, you know, until it would dry, you know, and I'd be afraid it'd lump over and stuff, you know. And then when I learned of how to use a hair dryer, I just curl it where I want it to, hold it there, hit it with the hot hair dryer, then hit the cool button and freeze it, and it works. It's awesome, and I'm so glad that George Bruno showed that on his show, on his channel. Oh boy. Well, that's pretty much about my beard. Things, some other news. Well, if anybody hadn't seen my one video, mom is home. She's doing good. And I'm glad. I'm happy about that. And me and my sister getting along better. We kind of had a small little falling out for like a minute, but you know, brothers and sisters. If you're a brother or a sister out there, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes things get to you. I started working on some paintings. I showed one that I was working on in a video I posted a few nights ago. But anyway, I started on another one too. See if it'll show on the screen there. I started working on another painting. Sometimes when you're working with oil paints, it takes a while for the oil to kind of cure before you can go, or get a little stiff before you can go into another thing, especially if you're adding texture to a painting. So I figured, instead of waiting sitting idle, I'll just start on another one. Now, if I had it my way, if I had a room, if matter of fact, if I could afford to have me at least a 4-bedroom house, one room would be set up for nothing but music. Another room would be an art room. One would be a bedroom. And the other one would probably be a catch-all. You know, just saying. But the one that I would use for an art room, I'd probably have all along the outline of the walls would probably be lined up with easels. Some with blank canvases, some with painted on canvases, whichever. And if I get bored doing one painting, I'd go to another. Or if I am waiting on one painting to cure, I can start on another painting. You know, just however the muse hits me, you know. And I'd do that if I could. It'd probably get to the point to where I'd have no place in my house for everything that I had painted, but you know, it's awesome. You know, it's a wonderful pastime. That's something else. Steph, the piping artist, she's pretty cool. I like what she does, and she does everything she do with acrylic paint. I'm not great with acrylics for some reason. I mean, I can paint with acrylics, but I found they're not quite so forgiving as what oil paints are. But I've seen a lot of people do some awesome stuff with acrylic paints. Now I got some acrylic paint and everything, and I plan on in the future, you know, doing some more with the acrylic. You know, just because I got it, and not only that, my friend Angela, who I gave a shout out to a couple videos back too. She's the one that kind of helped me get started in this direction. I mean, I've said for years and years, well, if I was a painter, you know, excuse me. Well, thing of it is, anybody can be a painter. Anybody. I don't care if you're painting a wall, painting the side of a building, painting a fence, painting a shelf, painting canvas, or even cardboard for that matter, or painting models. Anybody can be a painter. Everybody has different skill levels. I'd say right now at my level, and with lack of knowledge that I have, I think I'm right below an impressionist painter. Because I was one time told that one of the art of painting is to make the impression that something is there, even if you don't have very little detail. But if you can stand back from afar and look at it and tell what it is, then you're an impressionist painter. You know, I think it would be cool if I could paint people. I would like to do that, be a portrait painter. But that's a skill that I don't possess right now. I watched tutorial videos on YouTube here and everything, and I thought about sometime doing a self portrait, but that's neither here or there, or you know, it's kind of, you know, a toss up sometime. Um, but I thought about doing a self portrait sometime. They say every artist should do a self portrait to test their own skill and everything, or to see what, or to put on canvas what you see in yourself. Times, because they say that when you, they said like a person can draw, you know, like an artist can make an impression of somebody by what they see when they draw them or paint them. So I just kind of wondered how I would turn out if I went to do a self portrait. And I also learned there's a right way and a wrong way to do that too. Um, and I guess the trained eye and a professional artist can tell this too. Um, if you're looking in front of a mirror and you're looking at the canvas, and then you're looking back at the mirror, and you're looking back at the canvas, and you're looking back at the mirror, I guess there's certain things that can change in the way that your brushstrokes are, or the way that your features are in your face when you're doing that. Then versus if you took a still picture and then looked at your picture and tried to paint you that way. I guess a professional artist can tell the difference because on account of the consistency in certain things. But I thought about doing that sometime. Or that Vincent Van Gogh done that. You know, president, he did, one president in the United States that we had, he didn't paint, but he always was into self portraits, being taken of himself. That was Abe Lincoln. They say like he was one of the most photogenic presidents in history. You know, about as tall as Abe Lincoln was. I wonder what it'd be like to stand up side beside him, you know? I bet he would have made a good basketball player. I remember when I was in school and like after lunch or whatever, guys would be playing basketball and everything, and always used to like playing with them tall guys. Or I was a little 5'9" guy, you know, and you got these guys that already on the basketball team and got these skills and everything, and they stand up tall, I used to always like playing with them guys for one reason. When it came to going up to the hoop, I would try my darndest to jump as far as I could to rebound that ball. And I tell you what, some of them guys were amazed that a little little 5'9" fat kid could do some of those things. And one time I even remember jumping up, and a guy was trying to tip a ball into the thing, and I don't know how I done it, but I built up enough momentum in one jump that I grabbed the ball, took her around, and I made the basket. I only done that one time though. But I've never been much of a sports guy. I will say this though, one of my predictions came true this year in hockey, and I'm mighty proud of it. Um, I had said after seeing about anywhere between 4 and 5 games of the Vegas Golden Knights, I made the prediction, and I said that either this team is either going to be one of the second or third teams to come close to being in the Stanley Cup final, or is going to be one of the final teams in the final. And folks, they are one of the final teams in the Stanley Cup final. Crazy thing is me and my buddy are divided. He's been a Washington Capitals fan for a very long time, and I like the Golden Knights. They put me in a mind of what the Blackhawks used to be like. I'm kind of hoping the Blackhawks next year will do something. But anyways, um, these guys got aggression. Now, of course, also it could be just for the simple fact that they're a fairly young team, and they probably got a lot of spunk in them. A lot of vinegar and piss for vinegar, I guess. Or a lot of young blood on their team. But I learned that one of the guys actually on both teams, the Capitals and the Golden Knights, they both got a player that used to play for the Chicago Blackhawks. I can't remember what in the world their names are. I'm bad with names. But I'm like, well, that could explain the aggression in both these teams, you know. But you can tell both teams out there want it. And one thing I like about the Vegas Golden Knights is most teams, when you get down to where, you're the team that has to open up your net, or leave your goal open. Most teams about that point in time just kind of just play slap the puck around, because and they don't really make that type of attempt. These guys play like they still can win it. Every game I've seen when it's come down to that, they still play like they're going to win it. It might be the last few seconds, but they're still giving her hell like they're going to win it. And that's one thing I like about them, that spirit they got in them. That's a team that says we may not make it this year, or we may not win it this year, but we're going to come back with a vengeance next year if we don't. I actually think next year they'll get as far as they have too. Whether they win the Stanley Cup or not, I think they will be right back there again next year. They just got that type of strive in them, you know? And they've totally dominated their division. Totally. You know, some people would say the way this pipe is drilled that it would be more of a Virginia kind of smoke. But I like it for aromatics. There's a video that I've been wanting to make, but I've been trying to figure out when would be a good time to make it because I like to do a tribute for somebody, and I've said it in one live stream. And I'm thinking about maybe doing it sometime tomorrow. I don't know when, but sometime tomorrow. But I'm thinking about doing a tribute to Corncob Piper, who's taken a bow out of the YTPC due to his health and everything. And I think he's going to do a gardening channel, which is going to be awesome. But I'm thinking about doing a tribute to him with the pipe that he sent me and one of the tobaccos that he sent me that they don't make no more. So that's something to be looking forward to and keep an eye out for. I think that's about spent. But anyways, I think I'm gonna get off here now, and I like to say to all the fans out there, thank you for hitting like, share, and subscribe. For all the new fans out there, thank you for hitting like, share, and subscribe. For all the future fans out there, thank you for hitting like, share, and subscribe. And as always, wherever you're at in this world, may you be blessed. Till next time.